So the profile itself says we have to analyze the business and we have to talk with the stakeholders or we have to talk with the client or business people, right? So here business people are in the sense client. Okay. So our job or our role is only on the business perspective, not on the any kind of technical side, right? So we have developers, we have testers, right? We have UI designers or UX designers who will be handling the technical part. Got it? Right. So that is one of the myth, need a technical background. And the next myth is it is very difficult to start a career as a BA without technical knowledge background, right? So this is also a myth, as I mentioned. So I myself from a commerce background, I do not have any technical background. Until now, I've not written or I have not executed any kind of SQL query, right? So, this is also a myth. And a fresher cannot become a business analyst, right? A fresher can also become business analyst, but initially the role won't be the business analyst. Initially, we have to start as a subject matter expert, right? First, we have to learn the domain. First, we have to learn the subject. Then only we can become a business analyst on that particular area. A fresher can transform into business analyst, right? We don't need a business analyst, we have SME, right? This is one of the myth I've been hearing from others. Companies says we have SMEs, we do not need a business analyst, right? SME, what does SME do, right? SME, subject matter expertise, they confine their knowledge only to that particular organization, right? So they might have they might have expertise in that particular subject, or they might have been expertise in that particular area, but they are expertised only in that particular organization, right? But whereas business analyst should be expertised in the entire domain, right? So that's what this is also a myth. So any questions until now or anything additional you want to know before I move ahead?
So are you currently working as a BA at this moment?
I am working as a business analyst at a manager level.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So we'll move ahead with the course content, right? So my course content, 1 minute. Yeah. So my course content is divided into 2 parts, right? One is business analyst introduction, right? Next is SDLC, right? In SDLC, we are going to learn waterfall methodology and Scrum Agile and Scrum, right? So again, in the business analyst introduction, so we are going to see what is the overview of a business analysis, how to do business analysis, right? How a business analyst role got origined, right? Business analyst is not there from day one, right? So from the time of IT industry got evaluated, business analyst profile was not there, right? Business analyst profile was introduced in middle of the, in middle of the IT sector when it getting evaluated, right? So why we'll see why business analyst role got origined, right? What is a business analysis? How to do a business analysis, right? Who is a business analyst actually, right? What are the roles and responsibilities of a business analyst? And we'll also see what are the IT types of IT companies in the IT industry, right? What's the hierarchy, roles and responsibilities, and do's and don'ts, right? So all these basic topics we are going to cover under the introductory session. Like you may say, so why all these are required? We can jump over directly to the business analyst skill set. But when you want, once you gain some experience as a business analyst, right? When you want to change your profile or when you want to change your company, right? In the interviewer may ask you few questions which are not related to the business analyst profile, right? They may ask you what are the pre-project activities you do, right? Basically at company level, what happens at a pre-project level, pre-project activities, right? You should be able to answer, right? So all those things we'll cover and we'll cover part of business analyst introduction. Okay. Then in SDLC, as I mentioned, we are going to cover waterfall methodology and Scrum and Agile methodology, right? So in waterfall methodology, again, we are going to cover how to identify the right stakeholder, right? It is not like, you talk to 20 or 15 stakeholders, right? And you do not identify right stakeholder for that particular module, right? It is important for us to identify the right stakeholder, right? When you get to ask any feedback or any question down the line when the development is started, we should be able to identify the right stakeholder, right? So we'll see how to identify the right stakeholder. We'll see how to do the stakeholder management, like using a RACI matrix, right? So, this is also very much important for a business analyst, right? RACI matrix. You must have heard, if you have done some homework on BA profile, the first thing you have been heard is about RACI matrix, right? RACI matrix is mainly used to identify the right stakeholder to whom we can discuss with on our questions or take the feedback, right? So in waterfall methodology, again, we are going to learn elicitation techniques, right? What are elicitation techniques are? The techniques which we use as a business analyst to gather the requirements from stakeholders or client, right? There are many elicitation techniques. We have to identify which technique is appropriate for that particular situation, and we have to go ahead with that technique, right? So we'll see how to identify the right elicitation technique and what are the elicitation techniques, right? And we'll also learn how to write the business requirement document, functional requirement document. So these are the artifacts business analyst will work on during the life cycle of a project, right? When we get onto a real-time role as a business analyst. So these are the documentations we need to work in the waterfall methodology, right? So, RACI matrix is a document, BRD is a document, FRD is a document, requirements traceability matrix, right? This is also a document, right? So we'll see how to write these documents and what are the uses of this document. And we'll also learn why these documents are important for a project, right? So it is not like I'm going to explain you only theoretical part, but we have a practicals as well, right? We have a role play activities, right? So when I say role play activities, during the requirements, I'll just give an example, right? During this requirements illustration techniques, I will play the role of a client and you participants will play the role of a business analyst, right? We'll take an example or we'll take a requirement, right? We'll divide into two or three groups based on the count. You guys have to gather requirements from me, right? So that we'll do that session almost, 1.5 hours. Okay. So, that will give you a sense of how requirements gathering will happen in real time. Okay. So we are going to do that as well during our course of training, right? Any questions until now?
So about the training part, so how many days a training it is, and like if I'm not wrong, so we will be covering the BA and Agile,
Correct.
correct?
So I'll come to that topic, the duration,
Oh,
everything. I'll
oh.
come to the topic. But you are clear on the topics, right? So this is about waterfall methodology, right? So the next topic what we are going to cover, during our course of training is Agile Scrum, right? Agile, and Agile is a methodology. Under Agile, we have multiple frameworks, right? Scrum is one of the framework. Okay, so we learn we'll see, introduction of Agile, why Agile is introduced, though we have a waterfall methodology where, IT industry were already using waterfall methodology, but still Agile got introduced, right? So we'll see why Agile is introduced and why waterfall was a failure, right? And we'll see under Agile, we'll learn about Scrum. We'll learn waterfall versus Scrum. We'll also learn what are the Scrum events, right? Basically, these Scrum events are conducted by Scrum Master, but business analysts should also be aware of what will happen in the Scrum events and how to conduct the Scrum event. Okay, so we'll see how to conduct the Scrum events. And here as well, we'll do the role play activities, right? Any one of you play the role of a Scrum Master or a business analyst, right? And we'll conduct the live Scrum events during the training session. Okay, then we'll see how to write the epics and user stories, right? In waterfall methodology, we write business requirement document or functional requirement document, right? Whereas in Agile or Scrum, we write user stories, we have to write epics, we have to write user stories, right? And these terminologies might be new for you, like velocity and prioritization, but these are also very much useful, important for a business analyst to to you know to know what is a team's velocity and how the prioritization of requirements are done, right? And we'll also see how to estimate the user stories, right? So we have multiple techniques to estimate the user stories. We'll learn a couple of them, which are very much important, right? Planning poker cards and t-shirt size. Okay, so these are the things we are going to learn part of Agile or Scrum. Any questions here?
Hi, Srikant.
Hi.
Hi. What is this planning poker t-shirt sizing? When you say story estimation, is a kind of a technique you mean?
Correct. Story estimation is like, let us say example, if I have one requirement to develop a login page, let us assume I'm developing a login page for an e-commerce website, right?
Yeah.
So I have to estimate that work.
Okay.
Right? I have to estimate that work, like saying how much time I would take. Okay. In waterfall methodology, the estimation are done differently. In Agile or Scrum, the estimations are done differently. Okay. So for estimating the user story in Agile, we use these techniques. One is planning poker cards and one is t-shirt sizing. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Srikant.
Hi.
Like actually, how much involvement will be there in Agile or Scrum as a business analyst? There will be role of Scrum Master too, as you said, right? So
Correct.
as a business analyst, like how much involvement will be there?
Scrum Master is different from business analyst, Arvind.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Scrum Master role is totally different and business analyst role is something totally different. Okay. So business analyst role is constant everywhere in any kind of methodology, right? So whatever you do in waterfall methodology, the same responsibilities you have in Scrum methodology also. Okay. So sometimes in few organizations, what happens? They will not have a Scrum Master. They will not have Scrum Master. Business analyst will play the role of Scrum Master there as well. Okay. So that's the reason I was telling. I will teach you how to implement the roles and responsibilities of a Scrum Master as well at a high level.
Yeah. So Srikant, so what you're saying is like, if the organization is not big enough, then BA can play a role of a Scrum
A Scrum
Master
Master.
in his
Right.
absence. Yeah.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you. So then it is like you should be very familiar, okay, how these the Scrum pattern works.
Correct. So
So
that's the reason I'm taking you through this, topics in depth, right? So, velocity, prioritization, right? T-shirt size, planning poker, right? I watch no one will teach you during, in the business analyst training program, right? So since business analyst will also play a scrum master sometimes, so I wanted to cover all these topics as well during my training program.
okay, and one last question. So in an organization, when there is already a Scrum Master, okay, then like when these tasks which you mentioned, like epics, user stories, velocitation, and prioritization, okay. So are these tasks being done by the Scrum Master and no involvement of BA whatsoever?
No,
Does it?
we have to do, see, writing user stories, right? Prioritization of the user stories, it is BS responsibility. Okay. Calculating the team's velocity or calculating the team's capacity is a Scrum Master's responsibility. Okay. Estimating the user stories, we have to facilitate. It's responsibility of the developers. They have to give that user story points to us. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Srikant.
Hi.
Before going forward, I wanted to ask that can you throw few more information about the business analysis life cycle from requirement gathering of
I
BA?
did not understand. Sorry, what is that?
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah, tell me.
I wanted to ask that can you throw some more information about the business analyst life cycle from requirement gathering up to the UAT platform?
Show in the sense I'm not understanding.
I wanted to understand how the business analysis life cycle goes on. Firstly, we take the requirement, then we frame it, and then developer works on that. So like that, how it works till UAT test.
All right. So let me put that in a notepad. Okay. So
why I asked this question? No, because there are few folks in the call that they are absolutely new into the IT, so they do not have idea that how the business analyst life cycle works.
No problem, right? So let us take the waterfall methodology, right? So first step we have to do, a BA will do business analysis, right? Business analysis is nothing but learning about the business or learning about the client. Okay. Then step 2 is prepare for requirements gathering.
Sorry to interrupt you, Srikant. Are you sharing another screen, like the notepad, because we can still see the course content screen. Yeah,
you're able
we
to
can.
know.
Yes, yeah.
Right. So first step is business analysis, where learning about the client or business. Then second step is prepare for the requirements gathering. Third step is requirements gathering, right? And step 4 is like analyzing the requirements, right? Next is documenting the requirements, right? Next, discussing the requirements with team, like development team or QA team, explaining them what is the requirement about, right? So without we explain the requirement to development team or QA team, they will not be able to proceed further, right? So we have to explain the requirements. Before this, documenting the requirements, right? Or like BRD or FRD, as I mentioned, right? So these are the documentation, discussing the requirements. Then comes the development phase. Okay, then comes the development phase. Here, business analyst role will be not much. Whenever developers have any questions, we have to give them feedback. That's it, right? Then testing phase, right, where QA team will take care of the testing of that application. Then comes UAT, user acceptance testing, right? Then comes the production. Right? So basically, this is the life cycle. You can say life cycle of a project or life cycle of a business analyst role, wherever we get to involve in the project. Okay. So when it comes to Scrum methodology, our role would be some bit different here, right? So here we have here we are writing BRD and FRD documentation, but in Scrum we have to write user stories. Okay, so there is a specific format to write the user stories, right? As a user, right? I want to do so and so that I would see the result, right? So we have to explain the requirement in the form of user stories in the Scrum methodology. Okay, in Scrum methodology, again, we have to do the product backlog grooming. Okay, we have to do the product backlog grooming. We have to coordinate with Scrum Master on doing the sprint planning, right? We have to do the sprint review in the sense demo to the client, right? So these are the main activities where business analyst is involved directly in the project development lifecycle. Got it? Any questions here?
Yes, Srikant, I got a question. So under the Scrum methodology, you started from user stories, okay, and product backlog grooming. So I mean, the steps which you mentioned, the cycle, like, which you mentioned in the waterfall model, okay, the business analyst preparing for requirements gathering, those sort of, like, steps are we covering? Yeah. So, okay.
I got your question, right? So these are the common steps.
These are the commons, regardless of which methodology you work on.
Yes, regardless of respect of the methodology, these are the common steps.
Okay. But as far as the documenting the requirements is concerned, okay, those
That would
DRD
differ.
methodology, that will be different under the Scrum.
Correct.
Okay, and that will be in the form of user stories rather than documenting. Okay.
Correct. Correct.
Got it. Thank you. And among those two methodologies, which is the most common prevailing, like, in today's world?
Scrum is the one which IT industry is using. Most of the IT companies are on Scrum methodology, right? So waterfall is the first methodology used by IT organizations, but they were seeing some failures in the waterfall methodology. Okay, so that's the reason Scrum was introduced, and currently 90% of the organizations are using Scrum.
Okay, so it's waterfall is kind of a more of a traditional method, like,
Correct.
they used to use, and Scrum is kind of more of a modern approach.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, this is the course content at a high level, right? Then what is the roadmap? Okay. So what we are going to do during our course of training of 4 weeks, right? So first week we are going to learn about overview and overview of the BA profile and key knowledge areas. Okay. So we'll be covering this in week 1, and in week 2 we are going to study stakeholder analysis, requirement analysis, and activity diagrams, right? And we'll also work on few case studies around these topics. Okay. In week 3, I'll start SDLC, like waterfall methodology, right? And we'll also work few case studies here as well, right? Then in week 4, I'll start Scrum or Agile. Okay. And we'll also work on few case studies, right? As I mentioned, in Scrum, we are going to see how to write the user stories and how to maintain the user stories in Jira. Okay, so we'll see all those things in the 4th week. Okay, done. Once we are done with the training for the 4 weeks, right? So we'll have to prepare for the interviews, right? So first step, we have to work on the real-time case studies. Okay, so I'll give you almost 2 or 3 case studies where you guys have to work end-to-end case studies, right? When I say end-to-end, you have to prepare the documentation in waterfall methodology, and you have to also prepare the documentation or write the user stories in the part of Scrum methodology. Okay, so we'll do that kind of case aggressive case study work. Okay, so and I will also be reviewing each of your case studies once you submit them, and I'll give you the feedback. Okay, so that you get some hands-on experience as a business analyst, right? Before you get onto the real-time job role, if you work on case studies, you'll get to know how the real-time job role would be, or how the real-time things would go on, right? Then once we are done with case studies, I will do the mock interviews, right? By the time you do the case studies, you will be very much aware of the BA concepts, and you'll be very much aware of the business analyst knowledge, right? So during this mock interviews, we will learn how to handle the real-time scenarios questions. Okay, so when I say real-time scenarios, okay, during the case studies, you will be learning about the subject. Okay, but during the mock interviews, you will be learning how to handle the interviews. Okay, few interviewer will ask you to explain what is the challenge you have faced during your project, any of your project, right? And some interview will give you a scenario and ask you how you resolve that issue, right? So all those things we'll learn in the mock interviews. Okay, this preparation would take based on your readiness after the case studies. Okay, then we'll also learn these tools during our course of time, right? We'll also learn how to use Jira, how to maintain the user stories in Jira, and how to extract the reports out of Jira, right? We'll learn all those things, and we'll also learn MS Visio. MS Visio is mostly used for activity diagrams or use case diagrams, basically requirements modeling. Okay, and we'll also learn wireframing tool, Balsamic. Balsamic is the one which many of business analysts use for wireframing, right? Wireframings are nothing but screen mockups. Okay, and I'm also going to include SQL, right? Basics of SQL, right? So you may ask me initially, so you said, technical knowledge is not required, but why you're teaching SQL, right? So there is a reason behind that. Okay, so whenever client asks, at an entry level, that would not be a problem, right? When you get some experience, like, 5 years or 6 years as a business analyst, right? When client asks you to give you some data, right? So we should not dependent on the developers and testers every time, right? We should also be working individually, right? So if client asks you to give some data which need to be extracted from the back end, right? So you can ask developers one time, you can ask developer two times, right? We should not be always dependent on them, right? So to avoid the dependency, I'm going to teach you the basics of SQL, right? What a business analyst should be known, like basics in the sense, like, writing a select query, extracting the data. That's it. Okay. This SQL sessions would be for 2 to 3 hours. Okay, wherein you are going to learn very basics what a business analyst should be aware of from the SQL perspective. Okay, so these are the tools what we are going to cover during the course of training. The next, what is the outcome? Yes. Any question?
Sorry.
Hmm.
Sorry to interrupt. Okay.
No
So
problem.
the SQL you said, so I mean, like, SQL is not like, day-to-day use for a business analyst, like, in
Correct.
terms of using the tools. It's just,
Hmm.
as you said, just to be like, having a knowledge. So if at any point you need to use it, you don't become dependent. Yeah.
Perfect. Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. So once we are done with this training and everything, right? So what you learn, right? So you will have a knowledge on role and importance of a business analyst, right? How to plan the requirement activities, how to elicit the requirements, right? So all these things we will be aware of, right? How to validate our solution, okay? And what the best practices of a business analyst, right? So how to define a scope of a project, right? All those things you will learn as a part of this training, and this would be the outcome of the training. Okay. That what are the prerequisites, right? Who can join this training program or who are eligible to become a business analyst, right? Anyone who is a software programmers or developers, any business development, anyone who has a background from business development, right? Customer service representatives, right? Quality assurance team, anyone who is having experience on the testing side, they can also transform their career into a business analyst, right? SMEs, as I mentioned, right? Any IT or help desk support executives can also transform their career as a business analyst, right? So business analyst is the only one role in the IT industry where you do not need a technical knowledge, but you can project yourself as working in the IT sector. Okay, business analyst is only the profile. Okay, then what are the educational qualifications, right? Any person who is graduated can become a BA, right? And any person who is having a graduation or equivalent certificate or equivalent, any kind of educational qualification can become a business analyst, right? So why you have to choose me, right? So you have many other trainers in the market, who are teaching business analyst or who are conducting the training programs on the business analyst. Okay, first is professional training, right? I only not cover the functional or theoretical part. I also cover the practical session. Then hands-on experience, as I mentioned. So we'll be working on multiple case studies on each domain. Okay, so that you will get knowledge on every domain, and so that you will get a hands-on experience on working, or you get a feel, or you get a sense of working of on all the domains. right? Personal attention. So, that's why I put my batch very, on a low count, right? I would not take, as many as you enroll for the course, right? I would only consider in between 10 to 15 participants so that, I can give some personal time or personal attention to them whenever they are required. Okay. So what you'll get, you get what you really need, right? So you get the knowledge of the business analyst, whatever is required when you go on to the real-time job hunt. Okay. Then you can access the course material, or courses, 24/7 and career counseling, right? If you face any of difficulties while, uh, attending the interviews after the session, after the training session down the line, if you got an interview call after 2 months, right? You can talk to me. I can send me the JD. We can discuss. I'll guide you how to handle that interview, right? All those things will be taken care. And every weekend we'll be having a Q&A session, right? So daily we'll be having a Q&A session at the end of the training, but weekend Q&A sessions are only for case studies, right? So we may not get time to talk case studies on daily basis. On the weekends, we can discuss, case studies wherein, if you have any questions, we can discuss on the case studies, or else if you do not understand at all on the case study, I'll explain you how to work on that case study, right? So basically, we'll review the case studies during the weekends. Okay. So any questions until now, or anything you want to know?
Srikant, so this 4 weeks, program, so how does it work? Like you conduct class every day, or how many days in a week you have a class?
Right. So that was my next slide. Okay. So batch would start on 8th May 2023, right? That is on Monday. And timings would be 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. IST, daily 1 hour. Okay. It is in IST timings, and in EST it is 9:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Right. Monday to Friday sessions would be in India, whereas in USA that is Tuesday to Sunday, because the day would we have some time difference between India and USA, right? So in EST that would be Tuesday to Sunday, Tuesday to Saturday. Okay, weekly 5 days we'll be having the session. Okay, so I'm going to start 2 batches. This is a daily batch. What I'm going to start on 8th May, like daily batch in the sense we'll be having lectures, or we'll be having sessions from Monday to Friday, and this is one of the weekend batch. May 13th, I'm going to start. This is only weekends, right? Only Saturday, Sunday. And timings are same, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. IST, or 9:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. EST. Okay. Anything else you want to know, or do you have any questions?
So, the weekday batch, the classes will run Monday to Friday, and on the weekends, you said there will be purely based on these case study based, yeah.
That is different. These case study sessions are different. Okay.
Okay, so the case study sessions are not included in the course, you mean?
No, that is different.
Okay, so
I'll conduct those classes separately out of the course time.
Sorry, I'm confused. So, as a part of these course, those case study which you say weekends, that you have to take it separately, you mean?
Correct. So these sessions, what I've mentioned here, 8 and 13, purely on the training part. Okay. These weekend question sessions only on the case studies.
Okay.
Right.
So how much is the fees for this weekend Q&A sessions?
This is free. This is free of cost. This is included in the training roadmap,
Exactly.
training course itself.
That's what I'm saying. Like this is including the training part. And
Correct.
these weekend Q&A sessions are both days, Saturday and Sunday, or?
We'll see based on the list of questions what the participants have. We can schedule at that point of time based on the need.
But again, that happens in the morning, the same time, 7 to 8 IST.
No, this would be on the different time. I will let you know on the timing.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. And this 24/7 access to material, so you have got some sort of like dedicated portal where which we log in and see, or you're going to provide some soft copies in the form of PDF?
So I have the portal. I have portal, and I will also provide you the soft copies in the Google Drive. But I prefer to use Google Drive. Okay. I'll give you the access in the Google Drive. Okay. So you'll get access to the material, PDF material, which has end-to-end of a business analyst profile. Okay. You'll get access to the, interview questions and with answers. Okay. When I say potential interview questions. Okay.
And at the end of the training program, like, as you mentioned earlier, so there will be kind of a project which you will do from scratch to the end, so which gives you a real feel of like, how you work in an organization when you deal with this, like, projects.
Right.
Okay. All right,
So for the weekend, I'm sorry, go ahead.
This one you can go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. So even if for the weekend batch, it is 1 hour on a Saturday, 1 hour on a Sunday, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Srikanth. Can I
Hi.
see the waterfall methodology screen?
Screen in sense course content.
The slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
Is
You are saying that 90% of IT companies are using Scrum methodology, but still waterfall methodology is required for IT companies.
Yes. Business analyst should have knowledge both on waterfall methodology and agile methodology, because this is the basement kind of thing, right? This is the initial methodology what an IT industry used for the development of softwares, basically software development lifecycle, right?
Okay, for PRD and FRD SRS purpose, still they're using waterfall methodology.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Myself, I'm in the middle of career. I'm working as a software implementation side. Can I able to move as a BA?
Yes.
I'm in healthcare domain. Working in from last 10 years, I'm in healthcare domain.
Yes, you can move, right?
Okay, fine. Thank you very much.
So I was mentioning that too, right? Yeah.
Hi, Srikanth, this is John here.
Yes, John.
Srikanth, see, I'm a banker right now. See, I work in the sales department for those mortgages team in a bank. Okay. So I have experience of almost about 22 years. Now, I'm just trying to move in as a business analyst. Okay. My basic question is, see, I've reached a particular level where I'm a regional head. My salaries are on the higher end. So suppose if I move in as a business analyst, would my pay scale go down, or is it something like how does it work in the software industry? Just trying to understand that.
See, to be frank, I will tell you, you are more than, you have more experience than me, but, I'll tell you frankly, since you are mentioning you already have a 22 years of experience in that field, right? Right? I would suggest, to transform your career to BF as of now, currently, because you already have, you're already at a saturation point, right? 22 years is not a joke. 22 years, you have already gained a lot of experience, right? If you transform to business analyst now, okay, you're facing a lot of challenges. One is, as you mentioned, package, right? You have to start everything from scratch.
Yes.
At least, not from ABCD, but you should at least start from KLMNO. Right? So that would be also challenging for you. Okay. Maybe, if you want to upskill yourself and everything, you can learn, business analyst course, or you can attend training, or, you can learn the concepts. But transforming your career at this point of time after 22 years, that would be a big challenge.
Okay.
Right?
Got it. Yeah.
Sir, that you wrote on a notepad about Scrum Master and waterfall model.
Mhm.
I see that I have questions.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So you wrote about product backlog grooming. What does it mean?
Product backlog grooming is, there is a step here in the waterfall methodology discussing the requirements with team, right? The same we do in the product backlog grooming meeting as well, but on a different technique, right? Here we'll be discussing all the requirements at a time, with the team in waterfall methodology. But whereas in Scrum, we'll discuss only the prioritized requirements, right? So basically grooming in the sense, discussing the requirements with the team and, coming to the same on the same page.
Okay, so in that case, for waterfall model, we had to go for documentation. I mean, documenting the requirement. But in that case, Scrum Masters won't go for documenting the requirements, or they'll just.
No, Scrum Master will not involve in the requirement.
Okay.
Okay. And Scrum Master role is present in the waterfall methodology. Scrum Master is only in the Scrum methodology.
Okay.
Okay. And Scrum Masters will not involve in the requirements gathering or documenting the requirements. Basically they are managing the team. Okay, on at that level.
Okay, so since you say that business analysts can play the Scrum Master role, in that case, if a business analyst play a Scrum
It is
Master
not
role,
vice versa.
he'll document and also play other
Yes.
roles as a Scrum Master.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Srikanth, one question here. Actually, after finishing this course, like business analyst, how many years of experience we can show generally? I mean, after your training or this going through this case studies and all. Generally, as a fresher, not if we have been experienced. So, like how many years of experience just we can portray in our resume?
To be moderate, 3 or 4 years of experience. If you project on your resume after this training, you will be able to clear the interviews as well. Okay. If you project anything more than beyond 5 years or 6 years, the interview will go tougher. Okay. So what I suggest to all my participants is project in between 3 years to 5 years. 3 years is okay, 4 years is okay. You will be able to handle the interview with this training program.
And based on the experience also, the responsibilities will be there.
Will increase. Correct.
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have one more
Anything you
question,
want
if
to
you
know?
allow.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So that, as I can say, that documenting the requirements is something that we have to really document the requirements. And as you say that user story means as a user, what I want to do, or these are the things that user story means. So when I'm documenting BRD or any other requirement, do I have the option to put user story in those documentation also?
No, BRD and FRD would be some different, uh, formats. Let me show you one of the BRD. Okay. 1 minute. Let me reshare my. Okay. So if you're able to see a Word document on my screen, right?
Yes.
So this is BRD. Okay. So wherein you will put background, scope of the project, right? You'll explain what is as is process and what is to be processed, right? Proposed to process. This is BRD, right? In user stories, you will not find all these things. Okay. User story is just like as I said, we have to explain the user story in this format. Okay. BRD is different. User stories are different.
Okay. user story is kind of requirement, right?
User story?
It's kind of requirement.
Yeah, user story is also kind of requirement, but the explanation of that requirement, the process we follow to explain the requirement differs from waterfall methodology and Scrum methodology.
Oh, okay. I mean, that is also requirement, but in different structure.
Correct.
Okay, may I see any, example of user story, if you have, just to get the idea of structure.
Got it. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, so you can see an Excel document here,
Yes.
right? So this is the user story, right? This is one of the case study from previous batch. Okay, so this is the user story, right? Here we have to explain the requirement, and this is the acceptance criteria which explains the business rules of that particular requirement. Okay, so whereas in waterfall method, whereas in BRD document we explain the requirement. Let me show you. Okay, there is no requirements over here, but yeah, so we'll explain the requirements in a theoretical manner, okay, in BRD, whereas in user story we explain the requirement in this format.
Okay.
Got
Okay.
it?
Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, Shrikant. Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, this is Saurabh. Actually, I'm working in a general insurance industry from past 5 years. Okay, so after completing this course, should I apply as a fresher or as an experience? Because I don't have any experience in a BA.
That's fine. We have to apply as a business analyst only. I will guide you on how to how to tweak your resume. Okay, I'll tell you how to do that.
Okay, so for on that basis, should I will grab the opportunity in the same industry?
Yes, because insurance domain, banking domain, right? They have a lot of opportunities in the market as for a business analyst.
So will they accept that my GI experience?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I'll tell you. I'll guide you how to explain in interviews about your experience.
Okay. Okay.
Hi, Srikant.
Hi.
Yeah, similar sort of like what you discussed earlier with regards to work coming from a different field. So for me, it's kind of a transition into IT side, because at the moment I work in a market research. Okay. And my main ultimate goal, okay, it's to move into the banking domain. Okay. And considering my background, because in terms of experience, I have more than 10 years of experience, because I'm an accounting and finance graduate, and I hold my master's as well, in finance. And so for a person who has completely worked into completely different industry, and just how easy is to transition, okay, into the role as a BA, in the IT sector.
So you are from India, Hardik, or?
No, I'm from UK.
UK, right? So, okay, that's what I'm trying to understand. Okay. Okay. So I'll guide you on that part, Hardik. So once we're done with the training program and everything, I'll guide you how to, showcase your resume, how you are how you have to transit as a BA, right? I will guide you at that point of time.
So you help to create a CV accordingly, to the specific to the job.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or anything else you want to know?
Hey, Shrikant, this is Sunil.
Hi, Sunil.
Hey, I just wanted to get you analysis on getting any certification after this class, because I haven't seen you anything or any slide on that.
Correct. So why I did not cover the certification part is, right? So I can give you the participation certificate. That is not a problem. But business analyst certification should come from IIBA, okay? International Institute of Business Analysis, right? So we have three types of certifications there. Okay, let me put it here. We have three types of certification, right? One is ECBA, it is entry level certified business analyst. Then we have CCBA, certified business analyst. Then we have CBAP. Okay, CBAP is the highest level of certification. Okay, ECBA is for entry level, right? So what I suggest for all my participants, they can go for ECBA. Okay, that this is also not immediately after the training. Okay, so I suggest do some your level of research, like work on some case studies, right? So that you get some knowledge on business analyst profile, then go for ECBA, because these certifications are costly. Okay, if you see the job description, or if you see the job posting in any portal, right, you will not find any company asking these certifications, right? Certifications are not so important for a BA. You can check any job description in any site, right? You can check in Naukri, or you can check in Monster, any site. You will not find any organization asking for a certification for a BA. Why? Because let us assume you have, you are certified CBAP. Okay, companies has to pay more for you. Okay, assume there are two people, me and you, right? You are certified CBAP, I am not a certified CBAP, but both our skill set are same, right? If they hire any certified person, right, they have to pay more than the market price to that particular person, right? So companies or organization do not prefer certification. But if you want to showcase your skill set after the training, you can go for ECBA, right? There is no particular criteria to write ECBA. For for CBAP and this certified business analyst, there is some particular criteria, right? You must have a real-time experience as a business analyst for some particular hours. You can check on IIBA website, you can find that. Okay, but for ECBA, there is no such restriction. Anyone can write ECBA.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. So before I
Srikant, one more question. Okay. What is this Salesforce BA? Like, because I came across this term as well when I was just looking for, like, few jobs, like, BA jobs on the job board. Okay. I come across this Salesforce BA, like, how is different than, like, this one, because I never heard this term Salesforce in your demo at all.
Correct.
So
Right.
can you please explain?
Salesforce, if you are aware, right? Salesforce is a application, or Salesforce itself is a product, right?
Okay.
So how we have this, AWS or Google product, Salesforce itself is a product, right? So their business analyst roles and responsibilities also would be same, like as you have seen on my slides, the responsibilities of BA are same, but they have additional knowledge on that particular product. You are getting right?
When you say particular that product, I mean, like, so that means your avenues to work, okay, as a BA, just like, is limited to, like,
Only for that product.
Organization who adopt Salesforce. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. But having said that, okay, if you do this training program, but still you can apply for those sort of jobs.
No, you cannot apply for Salesforce business analyst, because you must have knowledge on Salesforce application.
Okay, so
you must have knowledge on Salesforce product. Then only you can apply for as a Salesforce BA.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you.
Right. So coming to the fee structure and everything, right? So I'm charging 7,000, right? This is the fees for entire program or entire training program, right? guys are registering now, right? Within 2 or 3 days, I would be giving you 1,000 rupees of this concession. Okay, so it is in if you want to enroll before the batch starts, like before 6th or 8th of May, the fee would be $7,085. Or else, if you want to enroll in a day or two, the fee would be $6,075. Okay, so this fee is for entire program, what I have explained you in this demo. So the course is of 25 to 30 hours, Nancy. Okay, so as I mentioned here, daily that would be 1 hour, 9:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. EST in the weekdays. Right, I'm starting one more batch on weekends. This is only purely on weekends, right? That is also 9:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Okay, so if you enroll now, you will get an early access to the material and the interview questions. Once you enroll, you will be added to a separate, different group, right? So I'll be sharing you the material and the interview questions in that group. Okay, so I'll be sharing the payment details and everything in the WhatsApp group where you are in currently. You can take a call and proceed further. Okay. Any questions before I close the session?
Hey Srikanth, once again, this is Sunil. How do you use this BA into becoming a product owner or a product manager?
That is different. That is different, Sunil, right? When you get much experience as a business analyst, then we can transform our career into product owner or a product manager, right? We cannot directly become product owner or a product manager. First, business analyst profile is like a basement, right? Business analyst profile is like a baseline, right? Once you get into a BA role, okay, so you can transform your career into any of the roles. Like you can transform your career into Scrum Master, you can transform your career into product owner, you can transform your career into product manager. Once you gain some experience as a BA. Okay. Product owner, right? That role is mainly concentrated on the product development, right? What should be the product roadmap, right? How product should be developed according to the market needs. But business analyst is something different. We talk to stakeholders, we gather their expectations or requirements, but product owner does not do that. Okay, product owner thought process is only on the developing the product and what should be the roadmap for that purpose to achieve that.
Okay.
Hi, Srikanth, John here. One last question from my end.
Yes.
Yeah. I just want to understand, see, as you told, since I have more number of years of experience and it's a kind of a saturation for me, would my role fit in for a project manager? Or again, I need to be a BA to become a project manager types?
No, project manager is not something, related to BA. But John, you can call me on my number. Maybe we can discuss on this, right?
Understood. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay, guys, then we'll see you soon. I hope you liked the demo, right? It will be appreciated if you post, a couple of lines or a feedback on the WhatsApp group, okay, about this demo. And I hope, you have a better future as a business analyst, whoever you wanted to transform their career as a BA. All the best for your, for your career transformation. Okay.
Thank you, Srikanth.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.